Hey lovelies, welcome back to my channel. Thank you for stopping by again, and if this is your first time on the channel, you are definitely welcome. Do well to subscribe and turn on the notification bell so that I get to see more of my content. And in today's tutorial, I'm going to show you how to make a basic jumpsuit, and this is very easy to make. And without further ado, let's get started. So right here, this is the material that we're going to use for this tutorial, and I used 3.5 yards for this project. To get started, we are going to be working on the upper part of the jumpsuit. So I'll cut out shoulder to half length from this material. And to know the amount to cut out, just go ahead and divide your bust by 4, and you are going to be adding about 2 inches to 3 inches to that, and that is what I did. And I'm going to be cutting both the front and the back piece. Notice that the back piece is going to have zipper allowance, so you are going to add extra 2 inches to that. So right here guys, I have both piece for the front and the back piece right here. The one under is the back piece. As you can see, it has zipper allowance right here. All right, and the next thing to start doing is just to go ahead and indicate the start line. And having done that, I'll place my tape measure on the front piece right here, and I'm going to go ahead and indicate my shoulder measurement, and I'm going to be adding ½ inch for joining allowance there. So I indicated 7.5, and I came down from that point by 1 inch. All right, and the next thing to do is to create the neckline, and for the neckline I'm using 3 inches by 3 inches. All right, and I'm just going to go ahead and create a round neckline right here. So right here, the neckline we just created is for the front neckline, and to create the back neckline, I'm just going to come down by 2 inches, and I'm going to create the back neckline like so. And next, I'm going to link the neckline to that 1 inch in order to create our shoulder slope like so. And the next thing to do is just to go ahead and indicate the vertical lines, and the first point I'm going to indicate is the bust point. All right, so I came down by 10 inches to indicate the bust line. All right, and the next point to indicate is actually the half length, and I will just go ahead and add ½ inch to the half length and indicate it with a straight line across like so. And right now, from the shoulder slope, I'm going to come down to my chest line, and I'm going to indicate with a straight line like so. Then I'm going to connect that to the shoulder slope. All right, and right now I'll just go ahead and come to this line here, and I'll find the midpoint right there, and I'll indicate it like so. All right, and right now the next thing to do is just to come to this chest line right here, and I'm going to measure out my bust divided by 4. All right, and that is what I just indicated there. Then the next thing to do is just to create the armhole by linking the points together like so. And having done that, I'll come to the bust point here, and I'm going to mark out my nipple to nipple measurement, and I'll indicate it here, and I'll also do the same on the waistline. And having done that, I'll connect it together on a straight line like so. All right, and right on the bust point, I'm going to come down by 1 inch, and then take our dart on the waistline, ½ inch on both sides. Then we are going to connect the point together like so. And right now, the next thing to do is just to indicate our body measurement. And right here on the chest line, I indicated my bust divided by 4, and I added 1.5 inches to that. And on the waistline, I'm going to indicate my waist measurement divided by 4. All right, and I'm going to add 1 inch for that intake. All right, and also 1.5 inch for seam allowance. Okay, and we are going to connect the points together. And before cutting out the pattern, I'll come to the shoulder line, and I'm going to add ½ inch for joining. All right, and having done that, I'll go ahead and cut out the pattern. And after cutting it out, this is what we have. And right here on the dart area, I'll just go ahead and notch the dart legs so that we know where the dart is when we are sewing. So right now I'll just remove the front piece from the back piece. All right, so right here we have the back piece and I'm cutting open the back piece. All right, and right here on the zipper allowance I'll come inward by 1/2 inch and link it up like so, and I'll just go ahead and cut out that part. And having done that, I'll come upward from here by 1¼ You can do 1½ inch, and I'll indicate that here. And right from this point I'm going to link it to the side, and I'll go ahead and cut that part out. And right now the back piece is ready, so I'll just go ahead and proceed with the front piece. So the first thing I'm going to do on the front piece is just to go ahead and cut out the front neckline. And right from the front neckline I'm going to come down by 4½ inches. All right, and I'm going to be slitting open that part. You can do 5 inch or 6 inches, depends on what you want. So I just go ahead and slit open that part. And having done that, this is what the front piece would look like. And right now the next thing to do is just to go ahead and shape our armhole. Remember that the front armhole is always deeper than the back. All right, and what we have here is the back armhole. So right here on the middle I'm just going to go ahead and come inward a little bit. I'll shape it just like I'm doing right here, and I'm going to cut off the excess out. And having done that, both our front piece and our back piece is ready, and I'll just go ahead and cut a lining piece for both piece. And that's exactly what I have done here. I've gone ahead to cut lining piece for the front piece, and I also did the same for the back piece. And the next thing to do is to stitch both the lining and the main material at the neckline, at the side, and also the zipper allowance. We're going to do it for both of the back piece, and also for the front piece we are going to go ahead and also turn, sew the neckline and the sides. So right now guys, you can go ahead and start working on the lower part, which is the trouser part. And right here, this is what we are going to be using to draft the front pattern of the trouser. And what I did to know what to fold is just to go ahead and divide my hip by 4, and I added 5 inches to that. All right, and first I'll just go ahead and indicate the start line. And next I will place my tape measure on the start line, and I will indicate the hip line. All right, and I'll indicate it with a straight line like so. And the next point to indicate is the crotch depth. All right, and when you are making a jumpsuit, whatever your regular crotch depth is, you are going to be adding 1 to 2 inches to that. All right, for mine I usually use 12 inches. All right, but I'm going to be adding 2 inches to that to make 14, and I'm going to mark a straight line across like so. You can also go ahead and sit on a hard surface and measure from your half length to that hard surface to get your crotch depth. And having done that, the next point to indicate is the tie line. And to do this, I'm just going to go ahead and come down from my crotch by 2 to 2½ inches. So I use 2½ here, and that is where my tie line is. All right, and I mark a straight line across like so. And having done that, the next thing to do is to come to the crotch line here, and I'm going to get my hip measurement divided by 4 plus 1 inch allowance right here on the crotch line. All right, and whatever I have here on the crotch line, I'm going to also duplicate it on the hip line and also on the waist line. And I'm just going to go ahead and connect the point on a straight line like so. And having done that, the next thing to do is to get the crotch extension. All right, so I'll measure what I have here, and I'm going to go ahead and divide it into 2. And after dividing into 2, I'm going to divide again into 2. All right, and whatever I have there, I'm going to use for my crotch extension like so. And up next, I'm just going to go ahead and create a curve to meet that crotch extension like so. And before I proceed, I'll go ahead and get the length of the trouser. I will remove shoulder to half length from my full length, and whatever I have left is the value to put there, and I'll add some allowance. All right, so I just indicated the trouser length right here, and I'm going to cut off the excess. And having done that, I'll come back to our crotch line here, and I'm going to measure what we have on our crotch line, and I'm going to divide it into two to get the midpoint. I will indicate the midpoint, and I will extend the midpoint towards the tie line like so. All right, and right here on the tie line, you're going to measure your tie measurement, and you're going to add 1 inch to that. All right, and whatever you have on your tie line, you're going to divide it into two, and for mine I have 13 inches. All right, and what I'm going to do is just to go ahead and make sure that half of 13 is on this side and half of the rest of that 13 is on the other side. All right, so here I measure half of 13 there and half of 13 here. All right, and the next thing to do is just to go ahead and connect from here to here like so. All right, and here I'm going to connect it to this point, and right now I'll just come to the tie line and extend this line like so. I'm going to extend it to the hem of the trousers. And next, since this trouser is a free trouser, you can just use the same measurement you have on the tie line and use it for your hem. All right, so I'll just measure what I have on the tie line and indicate it on the hem of the trouser. Then I'll just connect from the tie to that point that I marked. And having done that, I'm going to come to the waistline here, and I'm going to measure quarter of my waist circumference. All right, and I'm just going to indicate that. And next, I'm going to be adding 1 inch to that. If you are going to be adding a dart, you will also add an extra 1 inch for that allowance, but I'm not doing that here. I'm not adding that. All right, so I just go ahead and connect from the waist to the hip line like so. And right now we can just go ahead and cut out our pattern. And right here, this is what our front pattern looks like. And right now we can go ahead and draft our back piece. And for the back piece, this is the fabrics we're going to be using for the back piece, and it's bigger than the front piece. So I'm just going to place the front pattern on the back piece like so. And right here at the hem, they are the same, and right here at the side, as you can see, there's allowance, and also there's space and allowance at this other side for crotch extension, and at the top we also have some allowance right there. And right here on the upper part here, I'm going to extend the back piece by 1.5. All right, if you're on a big side, you can use 2 inches. So right here I indicated 1.5 at the top here. I'm extending the back piece by 1.5 for our butt allocation. Okay, and the next thing to do, I'll just come to the hip line here, and I will extend the line outward to the back piece, and on the crotch extension I will extend the line, and right here on the hip line I'm going to come out by 2 inches, and also for the crotch extension I'm going to come out by 3 inches. All right, for an average size you can use 2.5 inches, or you go ahead and divide your hip by 4, then you are going to divide whatever value you have by 4 again. All right, but for this project I'll just go ahead and come out by 3 inches. And the next thing to do is to come to the hip line here and connect the hip to the crotch extension like so. All right, and having done that, I'm going to connect from the hip to this 1 inch that we mark up here. All right, and having done that, I'll come to the side and come out by 1 inch. All right, on the waistline here, and I'll just indicate that 1 inch here. Then I'm going to connect from that extension we have at the back. I'm going to connect it together to the new 1 inch on the waistline in a slant manner like so. And up next, I also mark 1 inch on the hip line like so. Okay, and the next thing to do is just to connect the points together like so. And right from the hip, I'll just go ahead and connect it towards the crotch line. And right now I'll just use the chalk to highlight the rest of the shape all the way to the hem. And having done that, right here on the other side here, I'm going to start marking 1.5 inches on this other side. Okay, and then I'll connect all the points from the hem line, and I'll connect it to the crotch extension. And having done that, I'll separate the front piece from the back piece, and we can now go ahead and cut out the back piece. And And so right here we have our back piece, and this other piece right here is the front piece. And right now this is what we are going to be using for our sleeve, and I just folded it so that I have it in 4 places. We're going to be cutting both sleeves together at once, and here I'm just cutting open this part. All right, and the length of the sleeve that we have right here is around 11 inches, and I will make do with that. And the next thing to do is just to come down by 4 inches, and I'm going to indicate that right here. And having done that, I'll come to the top and I'm going to draw out an inverted S. If you have been watching my tutorial, you will know that I do this a lot. All right, and I'll just use a free hand to indicate or draw out something that looks like an inverted S, like so. All right, and the next thing I'll do is just to measure out my armhole divided by 2 and plus 1 to 2 inches. All right, I usually measure out 10 inches. All right, so I'll measure this and see if I have around 10 inches, and I do. All right, so I'll make do with this inverted S. All right, if it's not up to it, I will redraw it in a way that I have up to like 10 inches on this line right here. All right, and next I'll come to this line here and measure out my sleeve round, which is 7 inches, and I'm going to add 1 inch to that. And next I'll just take this straight line all the way down to the hem of the sleeve, and then we can go ahead and cut out the pattern. And right here we have our sleeve. All right, so right here guys, this is the upper part that we cut earlier, and as you can see, I've gone ahead to attach the lining piece to it, and this right here is the front piece, and I've also gone ahead to add the dart, to take in the dart on it, and I've also done the same for the back piece, as you can see right here. Okay, and the next thing to do is just to go ahead and align both the front piece and the back piece together, and we're going to go ahead and join it at the shoulder. All right, we're going to join both shoulders, then we're going to come to the side and take in our seam allowance. And right here, lovelies, that's exactly what I've done. I've gone ahead to join the sides together, as you can see, and I've also joined the shoulder. So I'll turn it to the right side, and the next thing to do is just to go ahead and join the sleeve to the armhole. All right, and right here, that's exactly what I've done. As you can see, I've gone ahead to attach the sleeves. And the next thing to do right now is to work on the lower part, which is the trouser part. Okay, and for this lower part, we are going to be needing pockets, and so I've gone ahead to cut out these pieces for the pocket. And right here I cut out 4 pieces for the pocket. And for the wideness of the pocket, I have around 9 inches. You can do 10 inches or even 12 inches. It all depends on you. And for the length, I have 7 inches. Like I said, these are not standard. They are just the dimensions that I'm using personally, right? And the next thing to do is just to go ahead. I'm going to align both trouser, the front piece and the back piece together, all right? So that we can mark that point where we want our pocket to be. And from the waistline, I'm going to come down by 2.5 inches and indicate that right here. And right from that point, I'm going to come down by 7 inches, which is the length of our pocket. Okay, so what I'm going to do next is just to go ahead and notch those 2 points. Okay, right on the front and the back piece, I'm notching both points. And right on those 2 points, that is where we are going to be putting our pocket later on. All right, and the next thing to do right now is just to go ahead and join the crotch area. All right, we are going to be joining both fronts together at the crotch area, like so. And we're also going to repeat the same process to the back piece. And on the back piece, we are going to leave a space for our zipper allowance, about 7 to 8 inches, all right, at the back right here. And we're going to stitch the rest of it. And right here, guys, that's exactly what I've done. I've gone ahead to join the crotch area together, and this is the front piece, as you can see right here. And I've also gone ahead to do the same to the back piece, as you can see right here, and I left an opening for our zipper. And right now, the next thing to do is just to go ahead and attach the pocket to those points we notched earlier on. All right, we are going to attach the pocket on both sides, like so. All right, you can just go ahead and pin it on those points we notched earlier on, and we are going to be stitching it. All right, and after stitching it, you can also go ahead and top stitch on it. Okay, and whatever you do to the front piece, we are also going to repeat to the back piece. All right. And right here, guys, I've gone ahead to attach the pocket to the trouser piece, as you can see right here. All right, and the next thing to do is just to align both the front piece and the back piece together. All right, and we're going to go ahead and stitch all the way from the waist and through the pocket, and from the pocket we are going to stitch it all the way down. And we are going to repeat the same process to the other side right here. All right, we're going to align correctly and stitch from the waist. We are going to stitch it through the pocket like I'm doing right here. All right, and you are going to come out from the pocket and you are going to stitch it all the way to the hem of the trouser. And right here, guys, that's exactly what I have done. I've gone ahead to stitch from the waist through the pocket and all the way down, as you can see right here. And right now, just go ahead and cut through the excess that we have right here on the pocket. I'll do the same to the other side too. And right now, the next thing to do is to go ahead and stitch the inseam. And to do this, we are going to go ahead and merge both the front crotch and that of the back together. All right, so we're going to pin it and we are going to go ahead and stitch all the way around. And right here, that's exactly what I've done. I've gone ahead to stitch the inseam. And right here, guys, I went ahead to turn the trouser to the right side, and right here we have our pocket. So right now, the next thing to do is just to go ahead and align both the upper part and the lower part together. All right, so you are going to go ahead and pin it all the way around. Make sure that the centers aligns with the center and the side align with the side. All right, I'll go ahead and pin it and stitch it. And right here, guys, that's exactly what I've done. I've gone ahead to stitch both the upper part and the lower part together, as you can see right here. And the next thing to do is just to go ahead and install our zipper at the back. And also, we are going to fold and stitch the hem of the trouser. And right here, guys, that's exactly what I've done. I've installed the zipper, as you can see, and I've also gone ahead to fold and stitch the trouser hand like so. All right, and with this, we've come to the end of the video. Our jumpsuit is ready. Thank you so much for watching till the end, and I'll see you in my next video.